Hi everybody, I'm Renza Scibilia from Diabetes Australia and I am here for one of our Tech Talks. Our Tech Talk series is short videos where I talk about the latest and greatest in diabetes technologies in Australia and things that we need to think about when it comes to using these technologies. And today I'm talking all about data and numbers. But I'm going to start by saying I will always say that diabetes is never just about those numbers. We're about so much more than that and there's lots more to think about. However, if you are measuring your glucose levels or anything else to do with your diabetes, there is a lot of data. And that means that we really need to think about what we're doing with it. How are we using it? How are we not feeling really overwhelmed by it? Who are we sharing it with? How private is it? All of these things are things that we need to think about. Now, if you are monitoring your glucose levels using a blood glucose meter or a continuous glucose monitor or a flash glucose monitor, you'll be aware that there are apps that collate all that data and keep it together, which is terrific because one of the things that you can do with that is you can have a look at what's going on. You can look for patterns. You can find out if, oh, look, I am always low at this time of the day. So what does that mean? I need to do something with with my treatment. You can also share that data, which is really useful if your health professionals want to have a look at what's going on, and you can have discussions with them about what your numbers are doing and saying and what that means in terms of what you need to do with managing your diabetes. But when we've got things that we can share, we need to think about our privacy. You control the privacy of all of these devices and who you share them with. So I always suggest that you go and have a look at the settings quite periodically. Just make sure that the settings are how you want them. So I have it set up so that I'm the only person who sees my data. I allow other people to see it when I want them to. And that's something that's really important because it's therefore something that I'm very much controlling. So when I feel like, oh gosh, I really do, am having some issues around this time of day, I will contact my health professional, say, here, you've got access now. Can we just focus on that? It's a really great way to know that you're using the data in a way that's meaningful and that you're getting results from it. Feeling overwhelmed by data is perfectly understandable, especially if you're using something like a continuous glucose monitor that is giving you updates on your glucose every 5 minutes. That is a lot of data. It's a lot of numbers that might not be where you want to see them. And so understanding how you use that in a way so that you don't feel overwhelmed is really important. That's where having a chat with your health professional is a great idea. Speaking with other people with diabetes so that they can share their tips and tricks for how to use the data in a really meaningful and positive way, rather than a way that makes you just want to scream because you're not getting the numbers that you would like to see. Something else that we need to think about is consent. So I've already touched on that, but this is something that I don't think that we speak about enough when it comes to this sort of information. This is something really especially important to think about when we're sharing the information with loved ones. So both continuous glucose and flash glucose monitors have these great abilities to share your data with loved ones. Now, this is great. Think about it. If you're a parent of a young kid with diabetes, they're at school for however many hours a day, and you're wondering how their glucose levels are going, you can keep an eye on that. Makes total sense and is really understandable if your kid is 5 or 7. But are we having conversations about what happens as the child is getting older or once the child becomes an adult? So these are things to think about and to ask about and have conversations with your healthcare professionals about. We don't need to be afraid of data. We do need to understand why we're using it, what it's there for, and who we're sharing it with. And we need to make sure that we're using it in the best way possible to help us, people with diabetes, manage our diabetes. Thank you.